You thought MVP dominance ended with Jordan? Think again, because right after his airness left the throne, two giants rewrote the rules. One shattered backboards with brute force. The other conquered quietly, stacking trophies like clockwork. Then came a smooth assassin, a self-proclaimed king, and a baby-faced sniper who reprogrammed basketball. This is the rest of the story, the MVP eras that changed everything. Let's pick up where the legends left off. Shaq and Duncan takeover, 1999 to 2007. When Jordan retired, in 1998, the NBA was left in a power vacuum, and two very different titans stepped into it. One loud and unstoppable, the other quiet and unshakable. Shaquille O'Neal was more than just a big man. He was a phenomenon. By the 1999 to 2000 season, Shaq dominated the league, averaging 29.7 points, 13.6 rebounds, and 3 blocks per game. He led the Lakers to a 67-win season, destroyed the competition in the playoffs, and earned a unanimous MVP. That was the first and only MVP of his career. Shocking, right? Because for the next 2 seasons, while Shaq remained dominant, the voters went in a different direction. In 2001 and 2002, the MVPs went to Allen Iverson and Tim Duncan. Iverson's 2001 campaign was gritty and electric, leading a 56-win Sixers team with 31.1 points per game, a league best. But it was Tim Duncan who quietly built a dynasty in San Antonio. Nicknamed the Big Fundamental, Duncan won MVP in 2002 and 2003, averaging around 23 and 12, leading the Spurs with robotic consistency. He didn't flex, he didn't tweet, he just won. Meanwhile, Shaq and Kobe were building a Lakers dynasty. 3 straight championships from 2000 to 2002, even if the MVPs didn't reflect that domination. Then came 2004, and everything flipped. Kevin Garnett finally broke through. After years of being overlooked in Minnesota, KG had a monster season. 24.2 points, 13.9 rebounds, 5 assists, 2.2 blocks, and a defensive motor that never quit. He led the Timberwolves to 58 wins, their best record ever, and walked away with his first and only MVP. In 2005, it was back to Duncan's Spurs, but the MVP trophy went to Steve Nash. Now, this has sparked controversy. Steve Nash won back-to-back MVPs in 2005 and 2006, despite averaging fewer than 20 points per game. But it wasn't about numbers. It was about style. Nash orchestrated Mike D'Antoni's 7 seconds or less offense like a magician, turning the Suns into an offensive juggernaut. Still, critics say, how did Kobe not win it in 2006 when he averaged 35.4 points per game, including an 81-point game? The answer? Voter fatigue, team wins, and politics. The Lakers only won 45 games, while Nash's Suns won 54. The last MVP of this era was Dirk Nowitzki in 2007, the first European-born player to win it. He led the Mavericks to 67 wins, averaging 24.6 points and 8.9 rebounds, shooting 50% from the field, 40% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line. But Dirk's MVP came with a curse. They were upset by the 8th seed Warriors in round 1, one of the biggest shocks in playoff history. From 1999 to 2007, MVPs told us the NBA was shifting, from raw power to refined skill, from big men to guards, from American icons to international stars. And the next chapter? It was built on rivalry, redemption, and the rise of royalty. You've seen LeBron dominate. You've seen KD climb. You've seen Steph redefine the game. But what happens when a teammate becomes an enemy and a walking triple-double rewrites the record books? Stick around, because the next era, it's pure chaos. MVPs chasing revenge, rings, and respect. Kobe to LeBron transition, 2008 to 2012. By 2008, the NBA had a new question. Was it still Kobe's league, or was LeBron ready to take the crown? Let's rewind. Kobe Bryant, after being snubbed in previous MVP races despite elite performances, finally claimed his first and only MVP in 2008. That season, he averaged 28.3 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.4 assists, leading the Lakers to a 57-win season and a finals appearance. It wasn't just a numbers thing. It was a redemption arc. After the post-Shaq drama, the 81-point game, and carrying a weak roster, 2008 was the year Kobe reminded everyone he was him. But in 2009, the torch officially started to pass. LeBron James, only 24 years old, dropped 28.4 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 7.2 assists, while leading the Cavs to an NBA best 66-16 record. He was a freight train with a jumper, a walking triple-double, and now a league MVP. In 2010, he repeated the feat, averaging 29.7 points, 7.3 rebounds, and 8.6 assists, again leading the Cavs to 60-plus wins. But here's the twist. LeBron was dominating the regular season, but couldn't get it done in the playoffs. That made fans question his clutch gene. So when the decision happened in 2010, when LeBron left Cleveland for Miami, it flipped the league on its head. In 2011, the MVP race shifted to Derrick Rose, the youngest MVP in NBA history at just 22 years old. He averaged 25 points and 7.7 assists, led the Bulls to 62 wins, and captured hearts with his explosive athleticism and humility. But Rose's story took a tragic turn with injuries that would derail his prime. Then, in 2012, LeBron returned to MVP form, this time in a Heat jersey. He averaged 27.1 points, 7.9 rebounds, and 6.2 assists, leading Miami to a 46-20 record in a lockout-shortened season. More importantly, he finally won his first NBA championship, silencing the critics once and for all. This 2008 to 2012 era was a turning point. Kobe had finally been recognized, LeBron had finally arrived, and a new generation, Derrick Rose, Kevin Durant, and others, were waiting in the wings. But the next MVP shift wasn't just about dominance. It was about reinvention, a quiet killer with ice in his veins, about to change the narrative again. LeBron's peak and KD's rise. 2013 to 2016. By 2013, there was no denying it. LeBron James wasn't just the best player in the NBA, he was the best player on the planet. And this era, it was his coronation tour. Coming off his first championship in 2012, LeBron entered the 2012-13 season like a man possessed. He averaged 26.8 points, 8 rebounds, 7.3 assists, while shooting a career-best 56.5% from the field. As a wing, the Heat went on a 27-game win streak, the second longest in NBA history, and finished 66-16. LeBron was the runaway MVP, the fourth of his career, joining the ranks of Jordan, Russell, and Kareem. But this wasn't just statistical dominance. This was control. He dictated pace, tempo, positioning, the entire flow of the game. He could guard 1 through 5, facilitate like magic, and score with near-perfect efficiency. No one had seen a player this complete, this intelligent, and this dominant in all phases. The Heat made it back to the finals, beat the Spurs in that legendary 7-game series, and LeBron snagged his second title and second Finals MVP. At this point, even the haters had to admit it. The king had arrived. But the very next season, Kevin Durant said, "Enough." 2014, KD's MVP takeover. Durant was tired of being second. He literally said it in his MVP speech. "I'm tired of being second to LeBron, second in MVP voting, second in the finals. I'm tired of it." So what did he do in the 2013-14 season? He went nuclear. Durant averaged a career-high 32 points per game, along with 7.4 rebounds and 5.5 assists, leading the league in scoring. With Russell Westbrook injured for a good chunk of the season, KD carried the Thunder to 59 wins and the second seed in the West. He scored 25-plus points in 41 consecutive games, the third longest streak in NBA history. He dropped 54 points against the Warriors, 51 against the Raptors, and routinely torched every elite defense in the league. This wasn't just about scoring. It was about narrative. Durant's efficiency, leadership, and unmatched scoring versatility made him the MVP. And for the first time in years, LeBron wasn't holding the trophy. KD gave us one of the most emotional MVP speeches ever, calling his mom the real MVP and solidifying himself as more than just a scorer. He was now a face of the league. But the heat of this new rivalry? It was just beginning. 2015. The Steph shockwave begins. After Durant's triumph, the league expected a rematch. But out of nowhere, a 6'3" sniper with handles from another planet entered the conversation. Stephen Curry. Under rookie coach Steve Kerr, the Warriors unlocked Curry's full potential. Ball movement, spacing, high IQ offense, and Steph at the center of it all. In 2014-15, Curry averaged 23.8 points, 7.7 assists, and made 286 three-pointers, shattering his own record. The Warriors finished 67-15, best in the league, and looked unbeatable. Curry's gravity on offense bent defenses like never before, trapping him 30 feet from the rim, only to leave Draymond and Klay wide open. It was revolutionary. Curry won his first MVP, became a household name, and led the Warriors to the NBA championship, beating LeBron's Cavs in the finals. Yes, LeBron averaged 35.8 points, 13.3 rebounds, and 8.8 assists in that series. But Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love were injured, and he couldn't carry the Cavs alone. Still, the MVP belonged to Steph, and the three-point revolution had officially begun. 2016, the first unanimous MVP, and a collapse. If 2015 was Curry's rise, then 2016 was his empire. Steph rewrote basketball history in the regular season. 30.1 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, 6.7 assists, 2.1 steals, 402 three-pointers made, still the all-time record. 50-45-90 shooting splits led the Warriors to an NBA best 73-9 record, the best regular season of all time. He became the first ever unanimous MVP, receiving all 131 first-place votes. And honestly, no one even questioned it. The Warriors were box office, and Curry's impact on youth basketball, global fans, and league dynamics was seismic. Kids stopped practicing layups. They were pulling from half-court like Steph. But the playoffs brought a shocking twist. The Warriors overcame a 3-1 deficit in the West Finals against KD and the Thunder, only to blow a 3-1 lead in the finals against LeBron and the Cavs. In Game 7, LeBron's chase-down block, Kyrie's clutch three, and Curry's missed opportunities. It all came crashing down. That loss changed everything. The MVP was Steph's. But the ring? LeBron snatched it back and reminded everyone, "Cleveland, this is for you." 2013-2016, a league in flux. This four-year stretch was peak basketball drama. LeBron James was still the most complete player, dominating the court in IQ, leadership, and clutch moments. Kevin Durant had proven he wasn't just a side character. He was a legit MVP. Stephen Curry shattered the old model of what an MVP looked like. Finesse over power, range over size, brains over brawn. This era blurred the lines between power and precision. MVP voting got trickier. Was it the best player, the best season, the most valuable to a team? More importantly, the MVP race became entertainment. We weren't just watching who could dominate. We were watching legacies being built in real time. And just when we thought things couldn't get crazier, a certain triple-double machine and a 7-foot sniper's shocking move flipped the league upside down. MVP chaos, Westbrook's wrath, Harden's revenge, and the KD aftershock, 2017-2019. The NBA had seen dominant MVPs before. It had seen scorers, defenders, all-around legends. But this era, this was chaos. Triple-doubles, 60-point games, historic rivalries, betrayals, revenge arcs. Welcome to 2017-2019. The most emotionally charged MVP battles in NBA history. And it all started with one of the biggest betrayals the league had ever seen. KD joins the 73-win Warriors. Let's not sugarcoat it. On July 4th, 2016, Kevin Durant committed basketball treason. He left the Oklahoma City Thunder, the same team he led to the 2012 finals. The same squad he nearly took to the finals again in 2016 after going up 3-1 on the Warriors. To join Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and the same 73-win team that had just beaten him. NBA Twitter exploded. Hall of Famers called it weak. Fans called him a snake. And for one man, it wasn't just personal. It was war. 2017. Westbrook's triple-double vengeance tour. Russell Westbrook didn't just lose a teammate, he lost a brother. He lost a title run. He lost trust. And instead of sulking, he exploded. In the 2016-17 season, Russ did something no one had done since Oscar Robertson in 1962. He averaged a triple-double, 31.6 points, 10.7 rebounds, 10.4 assists per game. That's not just MVP worthy. That's legendary. Westbrook also led the league in usage rate, 41.7%, and had 42 triple-doubles, a new NBA record. He dropped 50-point triple-doubles, clutch buzzer beaters, and highlight dunks that felt like he was punishing the rim for KD's sins. He carried a mediocre Thunder team to the playoffs and had the entire league in awe. There were arguments. Harden had the better team record. Kawhi was more efficient. But this wasn't just about numbers. It was raw, emotional, furious basketball. And Westbrook's MVP was as much about heart as it was about stats. 2018. The beard takes over. If 2017 was about revenge, 2018 was about redemption. James Harden had finished second in MVP voting twice. 2015 to Curry, and 2017 to Westbrook. He was tired of being the runner-up. So in 2017-18, he went on a mission. 30.4 points, 8.8 assists, 5.4 rebounds. Led the Rockets to 65 wins. Best record in the league. Had games with 60-point triple-doubles, 4-point plays, and step-back threes so cold, defenders froze in place. This wasn't just ISO ball. It was ISO mastery. Mike D'Antoni's system let Harden cook, and he didn't just cook. He torched the entire league. In a dramatic Christmas Day game versus OKC, Harden dropped 40 and then lit up the Warriors for 44 in January. The Rockets were one win away from the NBA Finals, pushing the Warriors to 7 games, even with Chris Paul missing the last 2 games. But make no mistake, this was Harden's league that year, and the MVP voters finally agreed. KD's silent domination. While Russ and Harden were stealing the headlines, Kevin Durant was quietly winning rings. After joining Golden State, KD became Finals MVP in both 2017 and 2018, averaging over 30 points per Finals series. But here's the twist. He wasn't getting MVP love. In fact, in 2018, Durant didn't even crack the top 3 in MVP voting. Why? Because when you're on a team that is loaded, the narrative turns on you. He was still elite. 27.1 points, 7.1 rebounds, 5.9 assists, shooting nearly 52% from the field. But the voters couldn't justify giving him the MVP while sharing the court with another MVP, Steph, multiple All-Stars, and a historic system. So while KD was collecting rings, Westbrook and Harden were collecting awards. And the debates? Never ending. 2019. The beard versus the Greek freak. By 2019, Harden was doing things we'd never seen. He averaged 36.1 points per game, the highest since Michael Jordan in 1987. He had 32 straight 30-point games, scored 50-plus multiple times, and dropped 61 points twice, once at MSG, once at home. His step-back 3 was unstoppable. His free throw game, annoying but deadly. And his Rockets finished 53-29, even with injuries to Chris Paul and Capella. But he didn't win MVP. Why? Because in Milwaukee, a new force had emerged. Giannis Antetokounmpo, the rise of the Greek freak. In 2018-19, Giannis leveled up. 27.7 points, 12.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists. 58% shooting #1 team in the NBA, 60-22. He was dominant, efficient, and unmatched on both ends. He didn't need a three-point shot. His Euro step alone killed teams. He protected the rim like a center and ran the break like a guard. The Bucks had been mediocre for years. Giannis made them elite. He led in PER, was top 10 in defensive win shares, and finished the season with multiple 30-15-5 games. And while Harden's offensive numbers were wild, the voters gave it to Giannis for being the most dominant two-way force in the league. It wasn't just a stat battle anymore. It was narrative versus impact, offense versus dominance, volume versus balance. 2017 to 2019, the MVPs of emotion. This era wasn't clean-cut. It was messy, personal, and explosive. Westbrook's MVP was fueled by betrayal. Harden's MVP was earned through ISO wizardry and efficiency. Giannis's MVP was powered by evolution and leadership. KD's dominance couldn't even break the MVP race because he was too good, on too good a team. And the questions we asked every year weren't simple. Is MVP about stats or team wins? Is it about revenge arcs or consistency? Should you be punished for having too good a team? This era showed us the MVP award wasn't just a trophy. It was a battle for identity, for legacy, and for validation. The modern MVP wars. Jokic, Embiid, Giannis, and the Luka looming era, 2020 to 2025. This wasn't just another MVP race. This was a full-blown international takeover. A battle between bruising giants, Euro legends, and statistical anomalies. From Serbian dominance to African revenge arcs to a Greek god, the modern MVP race became the most global, most dramatic, and most debated era we've ever seen. 2020. Giannis goes back-to-back, but the bubble begins to boil. Coming off his first MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo entered 2019 to 2020 like a monster on a mission. He upped his game, 29.5 PPG, 13.6 RPG, 5.6 APG, and the Bucks won 56 games in a shortened season. He had PR 31.9, one of the highest in history. And he won Defensive Player of the Year, becoming only the third player ever to win MVP and DPOY in the same year, after MJ and Hakeem. But there was a problem. The bubble. After COVID shut down the league in March 2020, play resumed in an empty gym in Orlando. And Giannis? He collapsed under pressure. The Bucks were exposed by Jimmy Butler's Heat. Giannis was injured in the second round, and suddenly his back-to-back MVP didn't feel legit. Critics said, great in the regular season, but disappears in the playoffs. And as the Lakers won the bubble title, a new MVP contender was just getting warmed up. 2021. Jokic breaks the system. Enter the Joker. No, not a villain, but Nikola Jokic, the most confusing, unstoppable, and brilliant center the NBA had ever seen. In 2020-21, Jokic averaged 26.4 points, 10.8 rebounds, 8.3 assists, 56.6% field goal, 39% three-point, 87% free throw. That's not a big man stat line. That's a point guard trapped in a 7-foot body. Jokic led the Denver Nuggets to 47 wins, even after losing Jamal Murray late in the season. He became the first center to win MVP in over 20 years, since Shaq in 2000. But it wasn't just stats. It was how he played. Full court bounce passes. No look behind the head dimes. Touch passes that bent space and time analytically. Off the charts. Eye test, weirdly dominant. And he did it all while looking like a guy who just finished eating kebabsichi. But not everyone was convinced. 2022. Jokic versus Embiid, MVP Civil War. In 2021-22, Jokic got even better. 27.1 points, 13.8 rebounds, 7.9 assists. First player ever to put up 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 500 assists in a season PER 32.85, the highest in NBA history. And yet, the MVP race was a war zone. Because in Philly, Joel Embiid was playing like a monster. 30.6 points, led the league. 11.7 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.5 blocks, dominant on both ends. For the first time in decades, a center was leading the league in scoring. The debate wasn't just stats anymore. It was, Jokic has no help, but Embiid plays defense. Jokic's team wins, but Embiid leads the league in scoring. Analytics say Jokic, but the eye test says Embiid. Even legends weighed in. Shaq, Barkley, Perkins, all with different answers. In the end, Jokic won his second straight MVP, joining a legendary list. But Embiid? He was furious. 2023, the year of the snubbed giant. By 2022-23, Embiid was done playing nice. He dropped 33.1 points per game, led the league again, added 10.2 rebounds, 4.2 assists, 1.7 blocks, and had several 50-point masterclasses, including a 53-point destruction of Charlotte. And most importantly, he stayed healthy. The Sixers finished 54-28, and Embiid finally won MVP. The world rejoiced for about 5 seconds, because now the narrative flipped. Did Jokic deserve it more? Was this just voter fatigue? Should Giannis have won instead? Even Kendrick Perkins made it racial. Jokic fans cried analytics. Embiid fans screamed respect. The MVP debate had become toxic. Even Embiid himself said, "It's not about MVP anymore. I just want a ring." But that's the thing. MVPs don't happen in a vacuum. They live in media, in memes, in legacy. And while Embiid finally got his flowers, Jokic was getting rings. 2024. Jokic the champion, the genius, the MVP. Again? In the 2023 playoffs, Jokic ended all debates. He annihilated KD's Suns, LeBron's Lakers, Jimmy Butler's Heat, averaging 30 points, 13.5 rebounds, 9.5 assists. With surgical precision, he won Finals MVP, NBA title, and instantly entered all-time great territory. In 2023-24, he came back just as dominant. 26.6 points, 12.4 rebounds, 9.0 assists. Another top 2 finish in MVP voting, Denver finishing near the top of the West. But the MVP didn't go to him. Because now, there's a new European storm brewing. Luka Doncic, the MVP of the future? For years, fans waited for Luka Doncic to take over. And in 2024, he came this close. 33.9 points, 9.8 assists, 9.2 rebounds. Carried Dallas with minimal help. Multiple triple-doubles, 40-point nights, clutch daggers. He led the league in scoring, orchestrated the offense like a savant, and had James Harden 2018 vibes written all over him. The only thing missing? Team success. Dallas hovered around .500 most of the season, and voters once again leaned toward a better record, awarding MVP to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Jokic, depending on the ballots. But make no mistake, Luka's era is coming, and when it does, it might break the league. 2025, global MVPs, new debates. As we approach the 2025 season, the MVP race is wide open. Jokic, already a 2-time MVP and Finals MVP, the complete Embiid, still dominant, still hungry, but injury-prone Giannis, the most dominant physical force in the game. Luka, a triple-double machine with Harden-level usage Tatum, SGA, Ant, and Book, all knocking on the door. But what makes this era different? It's not American dominance anymore. 5 of the last 6 MVPs have been international players from Serbia, Cameroon, Greece, Canada are redefining the league. The skill level is sky high across every position. This isn't just the modern MVP era, it's the global golden age. And with Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, and Scoot Henderson lurking in the shadows, we might be on the verge of the weirdest MVP revolution ever.